It's your man Jay Graves Report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Preview, Week 8. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Previewing the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, this week, we're going to be a little casual this week because it's a bunch of dub games this weekend. Not a whole lot of good rivalry games, not a lot of games where boys ranked opponents matched up. It's dub, so I had to just go clean and casual on them, but I still got a little pinstripe on them, show a little class for you boys. I'm telling you. Now, let's move on to the next first ball game. Now, we gonna go down to the ACC. We got Clemson coming into this 6-0, going down to play Miami, who's 4-2. Now, Clemson is averaging 35 points a game, putting up 448 yards a game. Miami on the other side of the ball is averaging 34 points a game, putting up 443 a game. Now, Dabo Swinney got these boys rolling. They 6-0, but everybody's sitting around waiting on Dabo Swinney to fall apart like they always do. I think he's second cousin to Mark Rick. Them guys always start off fast and then fall apart. So he got upset a few weeks ago. The boys asking him about Clemsoning. That's when Clemson just fall apart when they shouldn't fall apart. Now here's the deal: they're 6-0, but they play all of their games except for one at the crib. So they've been insulated at Death Valley. The only game they played on the road was against Louisville, and they only got out of there by 3 points, 20-17. Barely got out of there alive. So now here's the problem: they got to go down to Miami. Miami is coming off a huge win against Tech last week, and then the week before they lost to Florida State, but they played Florida State tight. So Miami's looking good. Think about this: the last 23 ball games, Clemson is 17-4. All 4 losses have been on the road. These dudes can't play away from home. Deshaun Watson leads the ACC. That's the quarterback for Clemson. Leads the ACC with 14 touchdowns. He had 3 last week and 420 yards against Boston College. But because they going on the road and Clemson has a tendency to do what Mark Rick does, they call it Clemsoning. Them dudes gonna lose this game this weekend. And Dabo Swinney gonna be mad because everybody's sitting around waiting on him to lose. He's gonna lose this game. Trust what I'm saying. Even though I don't have that much trust in Miami. Miami's 4-2. They playing better. The last 2 ball games they played well. They just lost to Florida State. They didn't have the guns for Florida State. But so Miami wins this ball game. Now let's move on to the next ball game. We got Tennessee goes down to play number 8 Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. Now here's the deal: Tennessee is coming off of a bye after beating old dumb Mark Rick and Georgia a couple of weeks ago. I gotta say it again. Georgia is Mark Rick's Georgia. Got out there and lost to these boys, but Bush Jones got these boys confident. They ready to play. Tennessee is on the verge of stepping over, but not this weekend. Not this weekend, bro. They going down to Tuscaloosa, and these boys in Alabama are rolling right now. Since Alabama had lost to Ole Miss earlier in the season, they beaten 2 top 10 teams on the road. They've only trailed once in the last 4 games. They was down at halftime against old Arkansas. Came back and won that ball game. They've forced 11 turnovers. They've had 4 pick sixes. They've won by the score. Listen to this: a combined score of 140 and 47 in the last 4 ball games. We haven't even started talking about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry in the last 3 ball games had 85 carries, 479 yards, bro. No way is Bush Jones gonna get these boys confident enough to win this ball game. They might well go down and get some of that Dreamland barbecue because they dreaming, bro. These boys from Alabama gonna stick their foot so far in Tennessee's butt they gonna need to have emergency surgery right there on the field. Alabama wins this ball game going away. Now let's go on to the next ball game. We're gonna go out to the SEC. We got number 15, Texas A&M, down to the Grove to play number 24. Ole Miss. Now, let's stop right there, bruh. Ole Miss went out to Memphis last weekend and got beat. Memphis. This ain't basketball season, bruh. This is football season. The vaunted SEC, the vaunted Ole Miss that everybody was trying to sell me on last year, got beat. Now, Texas A&M is coming off a drubbing last weekend. Alabama got the brakes beat off of them. Kyle Allen typically is efficient. He has, going into that ball game before last week, he had thrown 79 passes without a interception. Then he ended up throwing 3 pick sixes last week. But here's the problem. They got Ole Miss. Ole Miss is dub right now. Let me tell you this. Don't tell me nothing else about Mississippi football. I don't want to hear nothing else about anybody say anything about Mississippi. I don't care if it's Mississippi, Mississippi State, Tougaloo, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State. Hey, they ain't even got a football team at Tougaloo or Russ. But if I see a dog on campus with a football jersey on, I'ma jump on them. if you got a football in your hand and you in Mississippi, I'm jumping on you. Don't tell me nothing else about Ole Miss, Mississippi State, none of them done. Texas A&M rise, goes down to the Grove, tear the Grove up this weekend, and come out of there with a win. Now, let's move out to the Pac-12. We got number 3, Utah. Goes out to play USC. Unranked USC. Stop the presses. USC, let's talk about these done. Unstable USC. Now, USC went out to Notre Dame last weekend, got beat. But before the game, Pat Hayden took a knee. He had some heart problems. That's what they telling us in the news, in the media. They said he had some heart problems. I'm just saying, my mans in them told me he may have got into Steve Sarkis and Viagra and his Mad Dog 2020. So what they did this weekend, they said, hey, we at the crib. They went out and got some child-proof locks and put it on there so he can't get to it. Because Steve Sarkis had all kind of stuff stashed around the program. So it's like an Easter egg hunt. He got all kind of stuff in there. So everybody's making sure they put the child locks on everything so Pat Hayden can't get into his stash because you know that's his boy. So, hey, here's the deal. Utah leads the nation with 13 interceptions. That's a problem for Cody Kessler. Problem. Because, see, the first 4 ball games of the year, Cody Kessler was efficient with the football. He was 73% in completion rate. The last couple of ball games, he's been down to 61%. He's got 2 touchdowns and 4 picks. The way these boys picking the balls off over at Utah, it's a problem. I got Utah winning this ball game, and old Pat Hayden gonna be up there with the child locks on. He ain't drinking nothing but orange juice and tea this weekend, bruh. Everybody at USC is orange juice and tea. It's a dry campus this weekend because Steve Sarkisian is not around. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we're going to go down to the Big Ten. We got number 1, Ohio State. Goes out to Rutgers this weekend. First of all, we're not even going to preview this game because Ohio State going to beat the brakes off these boys. That's not what we want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the mistake that Cordell Jones made by going back to Ohio State in the first place. I told you boys last year when he finished the national championship game, that done should go to the NFL right now because he was as hot as Halle Berry and Boomerang at the time, bruh. Didn't make an ounce of sense to come back to school. Now he comes back. First, let's think about what he did. Beat the brakes off of Wisconsin, beat them 59-0. Won the Big Ten championship. Turn around, go to the Sugar Bowl, beat Alabama. Nobody in America figured that was going to happen. Then he shows up in the national championship and leads Ohio State in a blowout of Oregon and Marcus Mariota. You can't get any hotter than that, bruh. He comes back. I don't know who he was talking to, what kind of foolishness they ran to him. He played 7 ball games. Now the NFL scouts have 7 games of tape to see that this done ain't nothing but Jamarcus Russell. Now, Jamarcus Russell was smart enough to know he had one ball game that whole year. He beat Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. Beat them down, put up 260-something yards on them. Next thing you know, he going first in the doggone draft, number one in the draft, with a $68 million $68 million contract with a $31 million signing bonus or guarantee. He only played 3 years because the Dunn wasn't worth 2 dead flies smashed when he got drafted. I'm not saying this dude would have been the first pick in the draft because he wouldn't have. He would have been a first-round draft pick on the hype alone. We knew that the Dunn wasn't no good. Why? Because he was buried on the bench the entire season. You didn't know who the Dunn was till everybody got hurt. So there's a reason why he wasn't playing, bruh. Now you get out there and ball out for 3 games, you gotta go. Now you sitting on the sideline with a headset on. You probably won't even get drafted now, bruh. It's your man Jay Graves Report for TheJayGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport so you can holler at your boy.